Picture this, New York City, 1935. The height of the Great Depression for most, but for a certain glittering set, the parties never stopped. Among them was Vivian Sterling, a young socialite known more for her wardrobe than her wit. Until the night everything changed. It was a charity gala at the opulent Vanderbilt mansion. Champagne flowed, diamonds sparkled. Vivian was the life of the party, until she excused herself, claiming a headache. She retired to one of the guest suites on the second floor. The door was locked from the inside, a heavy, old-fashioned bolt. An hour later, a maid went to check on her. No answer. Concern turned to panic. They fetched the butler, who, with great effort, forced the door. The room was a scene of quiet horror. Vivian Sterling lay on the floor, a single, precise wound to the chest. The murder weapon? A jeweled letter opener from the desk. But here's where it gets impossible. The windows were locked from the inside, with rusted latches that hadn't been touched in years. The fireplace flue was far too narrow for even a child. And that door? The only key was inside the room, found on the floor near Vivian's body. The heavy bolt was still thrown. A perfect locked room. The police were baffled. The tabloids went wild. Socialite slain in magic murder. They screamed. The prime suspect was obvious, her fiancé, Charles Whitfield. A man with mounting debts and a rumored temper. He had a motive. He was seen arguing with Vivian that night. But he had an alibi. Dozens of guests saw him downstairs the entire time, winning a rather loud game of bridge. The case grew cold. A beautiful, rich woman was killed in an impossible way, and no one could explain it. For decades, it was the ultimate parlor mystery. Amateur sleuths wrote books proposing wild theories, secret passages, hypnotic suggestion, even a thin blade slipped under the door. But the truth, when it finally surfaced years later in a deathbed confession, was far simpler, and far more chilling. It wasn't about a secret entrance. It was about a secret exit. Charles Whitfield was guilty. His alibi was perfect because he committed the murder before he ever went downstairs. The argument was staged. He followed Vivian to the room. He killed her. Then, he did something brilliantly simple. He took a long, thin strand of Vivian's own hair, she was famous for her platinum bob, and tied one end to the metal bolt on the door. He fed the other end under the door and out into the hallway. He then left, pulling the door closed behind him. From the hallway, hidden by the shadows, he gently pulled the hair thread. It slid the bolt home, locking the door from the inside. A final, sharp tug broke the hair, leaving the nearly invisible strand to be swept away by a maid's broom the next morning. The key? He'd simply tossed it back into the room through the mail slot at the bottom of the door. The perfect crime, undone by a single, fragile hair. He got away with it for 50 years, living with the ghost of a woman he thought no one would ever truly miss. It wasn't a genius plot. It was a brutal act, hidden by a party trick and the arrogant assumption that a socialite's life was just glitter, with no one looking closely at the shadows underneath. So the next time you hear about a perfect mystery, remember Vivian Sterling. Sometimes the answer isn't in a hidden door. Sometimes it's hanging by a thread.